I am so excited for today. I came running up the stairs above the garage here in our studio in Vermont. And boy, oh boy, do I have a story to tell. Not only you, but I'm sitting here with my friends and colleagues, Amy and Jesse. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. So I think we're going to call this a jump on a mic kind of episode because this is going to be super random, but I promise you there's a point to it. I have a freaking hilarious story to tell you guys.
I can't wait.
It involves a wardrobe failure.
Yes.
That is super embarrassing and really, really funny. You ready for it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, I have a question for everybody. Is there any better feeling than taking your bra off at the end of the day?
No. Period.
That's a let loose feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
How would you describe that? Like you literally reach back, unhook.
Yeah. It's like, do you ever get like the itchy, like, ooh, you just want to rub underneath? Like you just want to, just a little shake.
Shake them loose?
Yeah.
Well, mine sort of fall like pancakes flat against
Gravity
me,
doesn't
so-
help, but
Yes. Yes.
it's a good feeling.
It's like, it just is like a giant.
Yeah.
And you know what I wonder? Do dudes have a, like, do they have like a let loose moment?
They might always be loose.
No, seriously, it's a serious question.
Yeah.
Is there a moment for a guy that feels as freeing as unhooking your bra?
I think, like, you think about a guy in traditional sense back in the 50s, coming home from work, walk through the door, first thing he does, loosen up his tie.
That is not, I don't think.
what about a belt?
No?
a belt? I would say if the belt is quite tight and it's holding a lot in, that would probably be like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Maybe a cup after a sports game. But that's not like an everyday thing.
No.
You know, I was thinking about Chris. I have to ask Chris about this. In fact, I'll text him. We'll see if he can come up here. Did you wear shapewear at your wedding, Jesse?
I did not wear shapewear
Why?
at my wedding.
Isn't that when everybody does?
It's your wedding night. You gotta have some quick, easy access after that night's wrap. We can't be scrambling to get that off.
Oh,
It's one thing to get the dress
my
off, but
God.
then like that's gonna be super glued after a night. No way.
That's true. It's like this beige sausage casing that you're going to roll
There
off.
was boob tape, but that's fine.
Hey, baby.
Hi.
Chris.
All right, so we got a question for you.
Okay. Mike, please. Okay. What's up?
Okay, so we got a question for you. There is almost no better feeling for a woman than to take her bra off at the end of the day or to take off one of those Spanx, Skims, shapewear things. What is the equivalent for a dude?
Of removing a piece of apparel?
Just freedom. Like you just are like, oh.
Well, I didn't play a lot of football, but I would imagine removing a jock strap would be a little bit like that.
Yep.
You know, if you wear a pair of tight, like skin tight exercise shorts
Yep.
for many hours,
Yep.
I think that would be like pulling off Spanx for a guy as far as like releasing the tension from your skin, if that's what you're talking about, or some discomfort, or is that right?
I guess. It
Or
doesn't
you-
sound that compelling. What about your bike shorts? So you've been out for a 70-mile ride. You're wearing a pair of padded bike shorts. You're, you
My
know.
crotch is
Yes.
like on fire.
Yes.
And
Yes. When you
yeah.
roll that off like a pair of pantyhose, what does
My
that feel
bum-
like?
My balls hurt. The
Yes.
whole deal.
Yes.
Yeah, that feels pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. But, you know, the amount of sort of abuse that my nuts are taking in the saddle on a bike ride is very different than your breasts over the course of a day, right?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
What do you think she does all day
I don't know.
with her breasts?
Well, there's some feeling associated with removing the brassiere. That
Yeah, well, I just figured your balls, or your doodle dads that you call them sometimes, that they just kind of drop a little, and that feels very freeing.
Yeah, like I said, no different than, well, I guess for you wearing Spanx, there's nothing dropping, right? It's just, but yeah, that's a good feeling.
What did you think about those Skims that I bought? The bodysuits.
They look good. It looks kind of uncomfortable to me. I mean, it looks kind of a little tight. I'm not sure I would go with that, even though I could use that on my little rubber tummy.
Your rubber tummy. You're very cute. All right. That's all we needed. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We love you. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Robbins.
Thanks for representing.
Yes. Awesome. And I would love to know, for you listening, is there something that we're missing here that you feel is that moment of it's just like, ah, at the end of the day? You guys are so creative and very sort of interesting in your insights about these things. And so I guarantee you we're missing a couple. So I can't wait to hear what you write in about. But the reason why I'm telling you this story is because yesterday I experienced a moment of body freedom that was, I would say, maybe 25 times more liberating than taking a bra off at the end of the day.
25
Whoa.
times?
Body
Yes.
freedom.
Yes, it also involves a major wardrobe failure.
Ooh.
So let me tell you the story, okay? And as
Yeah.
I tell you the story, I would love for you to think about some wardrobe failure that maybe you've had.
Oh.
Because these seem to happen to me all the time. I don't know what it is, but so here's what happened. So my daughters have recently introduced me to shapewear. I'm a huge fan of Sarah Blakely. No, that's not her name.
Yeah.
No, that's the famous actress. Blakely?
Blake Lively?
Blake
Sing it
Lively. Who am I thinking of? Sarah Blakely.
Blakely.
Sarah Blakely.
Yeah.
Okay, I immediately had a panic that I was saying her name wrong.
Yeah.
So Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, we have
Yeah.
spoken at a bunch of events together. She is a rock star. I love her story. I love, but I've never been, sorry, Sarah, a huge fan of shapewear. And one of the reasons why is because when Spanx first came out, and this is not like a slam on Spanx, but when they first came out and I bought a high-waisted pair of bike shorts, they give me gas. I don't know if that's like a new, I don't know if that's me, but I felt like the compression was so compressed, or maybe I bought the wrong size, that I felt gassy and crampy all day wearing shapewear.
Oh,
and
no.
also I bought these bike shorts because I was wearing a pair of trousers and I did not want the bike shorts to show. I mean, I didn't want my underwear lines to show,
Yeah.
but I could see the bike short line
Right.
in my pants.
Like
So I
above
thought,
your knee.
yeah, so I thought, okay,
Yeah.
I'm getting gas. I have cramps. It's sort of like the same thing as when you wear really high-waisted pants
Yeah.
and you sit down and it's like a tourniquet on your stomach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just cuts at the wrong
Yes.
spot.
Yeah.
So I probably just bought the wrong style and wore it with the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So I have not worn shapewear. Do you guys wear shapewear?
I did.
I have. Yeah.
And then we moved to Vermont. You don't need it up here.
That's true.
Yeah.
You really
Don't
don't.
let everything go.
No.
Yeah, just let it all hang out.
No, I still have it. I can almost guarantee you that if I were to bring it in and show it to you, and you were to take the waistband and just kind of like flex it a little bit, it would probably disintegrate because I just
Yeah.
Haven't
never
worn
wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have so
It's
many
ancient.
friends that swear by the Spanx jeans, that swear by, and the product's fantastic. So Sarah, we love you.
Yeah.
You're incredible. So here's what happened. My daughter Kendall was up and I asked her if she would help me go through my closet because I am trying to get rid of clothes that don't fit because I'm now in the middle of menopause. So I feel like a Twinkie on legs and I realize I look very lean, but when your middle expands, your pants don't fit.
Right.
Plain and simple. And so I was trying on clothes and my daughter came to this conclusion that the reason why I hate my clothes is because I have no shapewear and I have saggy bras.
So she's saying shapewear is essential
Yes.
to
Yes.
enjoying the way
Really?
you look
Yes.
in clothes.
Yes. And so
Wow.
she
This
pulled
is
up the
news.
internet and she went to
Pulled up the
she
internet.
went to Skims, which is Kim Kardashian's line.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if anybody other than Sarah Blakely is going to make shapewear, Kim Kardashian seems
Yeah.
like the perfect person to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we ordered a bunch of stuff. So it arrives, it comes in this box. I pull this stuff out. I kid you not. The tank top bodysuit looks So small. It looks like Barbie clothing.
Oh.
That's how small it is. I pull it out. I'm like, this is not going to fit me.
How's
Did
that
you order
going?
the children's size? She's like, Mom, this is perfect. This is exactly how it looks. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't fit my body in this. And so she coaches me through getting it on. And basically you stretch it like, you know, to kind of loosen it up a little
Like
bit.
a
or at
balloon
least-
before you're
yeah,
gonna blow
or
it
at least
up.
I had to.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I stepped into it and you sort of like yank it up on your body. And it's a lot like pulling sausage casing up over your body. Very thin, stretches out. I put it on. She ordered me the thong. Okay, which I probably would not have done, but I got to give props to Kim Kardashian because the thong was not a string. It actually was like a landing strip. There was enough there so it was not going to go right up my rear end. And so I put it on and I looked in the mirror and I'm like, dang, this looks pretty damn good.
Oh my God.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So here's the mistake I made. I tried it on. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And then I took it off and went on with my life. I didn't walk around in it.
Oh,
I didn't sit down in it. I didn't test it for real life.
you have to test drive your underwear.
That
After a
is true,
certain age.
actually.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
I did not know this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I didn't either.
fast forward to my wardrobe fail. Here's the story. Oh my God. So I was in Boston because I was invited by a friend to go to this fundraiser at the Institute of Contemporary Art that was celebrating women artists. And I was so excited to go. And the Institute of Contemporary Art, if you're going to a luncheon there, which I have never done, I thought, okay, this is going to be a cool group of people. And a really cool group of women. So I
Yes.
gotta put on like a really cool I'm into art outfit.
Oh, I'm into art.
Yes. So I pull out a pair of black pants that I have not worn in probably 8 years.
Now's
they're,
the day.
Now's the day.
Yeah.
Now's the day.
Yeah.
And they're very like stretchy fabric, and they were the kind of pants that I wore when I had to go into corporate settings. So really nicely tailored. You can see everything in the rear end. So I'm like, this would be a great moment to wear my bodysuit. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I've also pulled out a sweater that is a ribbed sweater, so it's tight, right? And the sweater is the boldest colors. So I'm going for like the pop art look.
Nice.
I've got on black
Nice.
pants, I got on black heeled boots, and I've got on this tight ribbed sweater that is bold stripes.
Yeah.
I'm talking Where's Waldo. I look like human caution tape. It is white, and then it is yellow, and then it is brown, and then it is black. I'm like
It's
a
like a
bumblebee kind of.
Love it.
Yes.
That's a good art
You're making
outfit.
a statement.
Yes.
Yeah.
I looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the shapewear pulled it all in. I'm like, this is great. I look like I support art. I look really cool, but not pretentious. I got like the pop thing going.
Wow.
The color is all springy.
Yes.
And so I get in the car. Things are really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to great music. Things are really good. I get downtown to Boston. Things are really good. I find a parking space in a parking garage a couple blocks away from the ICA. Things are really good. I get out of the car, and going from sitting to standing up sort of made the bodysuit go from really good to not so great. Because that thong started to turn into a wedgie.
Oh no.
Now, I get out of the car and I try to reach back and pull it down a little while I'm in the parking garage, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't
do
get a
it.
grip.
That's a two-hand job.
Yes, but I don't know that, right? And plus the thing is starting in about 5 minutes, so I gotta go. So I stick my hand down the back of my pants and try to just like move it
Yeah.
down a little.
Yeah.
And that works. That works. I'm embarrassed to tell you this.
Don't
Okay.
be.
What do you think I did next?
Did you wash your hands?
No, I smelled it.
I knew you were gonna say that.
No.
It did not smell bad. And I'm like, okay, whew. Okay. So, wouldn't you have smelled your hand?
Yes. Let me tell you something.
What?
Yes, but why? Why are we doing this? Why are we smelling
Why
our
would you
hands?
Because
smell your
I am
hand?
about to walk into an event where I'm going to see my friends.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give them a hug if I have poop hands.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Not like actual poop,
No.
but I don't want my hand to smell like that.
Yeah.
I can't say I've ever smelled someone's hand though.
I know, but I just felt like if
But
it
if it-
smelled bad, like there's something like
Oh,
not cool about
really?
hugging
There would
somebody.
be-
I am outnumbered
or
on
what if
this.
what if somebody that I don't know is standing next to one of my friends and I hug my friend and I keep my hand off of my friend, but then somebody goes, "It's nice to meet you," and they extend your hand.
Well, it's on you for not putting some hand sanitizer on those hands.
I don't have hand sanitizer in my car. So
I don't know
just
what-
wanted
what
to
plan B is
clear,
on that.
like I wanted to have a clear
Yeah.
conscience
Yeah.
walking into this.
Yeah.
place.
It's like checking your breath.
yes, yes.
Check your like just
Oh, that's
do that.
so
Yeah.
funny.
I
It's
get it.
relatable. You
It
get
is
it.
relatable.
I think it's actually a very conscientious thing to do
yes,
for other
it
people.
is true. It is true.
Okay.
It's conscientious.
I'll start doing it.
But also, a lot of people wouldn't admit that. So props to you for just telling all the details of the story,
You know,
getting into
that's what
all
I'm
of
here
it.
for.
Yes. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'm good. I have 5 minutes to get 2 city blocks to an event that's about to begin.
Yeah.
And so I start to walk and I'm what's it called? Forward ambulation. That's what the neuroscientists call it. I'm forward ambulating as I walk. And as I'm walking, and I'm walking like I'm late because I'm
Yeah.
about to be late, I'm realizing I have a very long torso. Because as I'm walking, this freaking bodysuit is starting to slowly inch up. And the bodysuit is starting to give me a simultaneous wedgie in the front and the back, which basically means I had both a camel toe and a piece of floss that was starting to go up and up and up like a hammock from the front to the back. And so now I can't stride it out because I'm going to split myself in half. And so now I'm shuffling as fast as I possibly can because
Yeah.
I don't want a big stride. And I walk into or shuffle into the ICA, and there is my friend. And I walk right up to her and I give her a big hug and I whisper in her ear, "I've got a giant wedgie in my bodysuit. I've got to find them. But where's the bathroom?" She's like, oh my God, that's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
She's like, points to the thing and she goes, "I'll save you a seat, okay?" And so I'm like, oh my God, I love you. Don't you love friends like that?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, so I shuffle to the bathroom. This thing is so far up me that I drop my pants to the floor. And to your point, Jesse, this is a two-hand
We've
maneuver.
all been there. Yeah.
Yes. I have to grab both sides.
Front and back.
Oh, I didn't start there.
Oh, you started on your
Oh.
side.
I started on the side.
Interesting.
You know,
move.
I think that's a
I
gentler
needed
approach.
some slack.
Yeah.
I needed to create some slack
Because it's
and
as
some
if
extra.
This bodysuit showed itself to you as a Barbie outfit. You got it to expand. It was
Yes.
like the pumpkin turned into a carriage, and then all of the sudden, it snaps back to Barbie suit for you.
Yes.
like at the wrong
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
like and so right back to the pumpkin, and you haven't even gotten to the dance yet, and you're like this is a
Yeah.
difficult situation.
Oh
so
my
I
God.
get I
You're
get
in,
the
like-
sides thing. You need the slack.
Yes.
I think that was a good strategy.
Yeah, I'm like,
Mel.
like
yeah. Oh, you did a
it
hard
down.
pull down.
Yes,
hard
because
pull
I
down.
wanted a couple inches.
Yes. Okay.
And plus, this thing had basically like rolled up almost like a string, right?
Oh,
Because it was so stretched.
Yes.
And I have to flatten the landing strip back out so it doesn't do it again.
I just want to tell you, my heart is racing for this story. Like, I'm really feeling this. Like, I'm a little bit starting to sweat, and I'm feeling myself like
Yeah.
really. It's
'Cause when
very relatable.
But,
Yes.
you know, here's the thing, and I have to give myself props. The old me would have just been like embarrassed and like, why can't you do that? And I just was like, this is the crazy. I was laughing at myself. And I think
Good.
that's
Yes.
so important in life, to be able to whisper in your friend's ear that you got a wedgie, to be able to laugh at yourself as you're in a bathroom in like what you think is the best art forward outfit that you've ever put on, in a brand new bodysuit that you've
Yeah.
never tested, like in
Yeah.
a real life situation.
Yeah.
I am yanking it down on the sides to give me a couple extra inches so that I can straighten out the middle and get it repositioned in place. Unsnapping it was not an option, because what happens when you unsnap a bodysuit?
Oh, the snaps hit your teeth. It goes.
Yeah,
up so
basically
far.
rolls up like
Yeah.
a window shade.
Oh.
And plus this thing, like, I was afraid if I unsnap it, it's going to hang out the front and the back. And God knows it's now got stuff on it because I don't have underwear on. And I'm like, this is a disaster.
It has been up there. Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
Yes. And so I get it all positioned. And the problem is that now as I'm pulling it down, it's pulling off my boobs.
Oh, no.
Like it's not on your boobs anymore.
No. And so I
that
have
long
a
torso.
look.
Oh.
Yes, I have a long torso.
Yeah.
So I now look like, what is it, the Heineken or the St. Pauli girl? only
St.
with
Pauli
no
girl
shirt
with
on.
the, yeah.
Think of the
And I've got a
Borat,
ribbed
too.
sweater, so you can see the nipples and everything else. So I'm like yanking this thing
Oh, what
to
a
try
mess.
to stretch it out. I finally, it didn't even occur to me. I could have just taken it off and been nude. It didn't even occur to me.
It wouldn't have occurred to me either. You don't want to be that
You're in
person
art
at the
studio.
art
They-
studio.
yeah, they wouldn't care.
You don't want to be that person.
So I get it all positioned. I, of course, wash my hands.
Good.
Yep, wash my
everyone
hands.
can exhale now.
Yep.
Yes.
And I go back to the luncheon. And
What's your attitude? Like, I've got this, or are you like,
Oh, I
a
of
little
course
worried?
told a bunch of people because I think it's hilarious and I think everybody can relate to it.
I think
But
everybody can relate. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times people look at you and they're like, wow, she doesn't give her shit. She's got her act together. What a badass. I think that's true. And then I have to give it to you, Mel. You take it up a notch. Not only do you not give a shit, but you make fun of yourself. You
Yeah.
let everybody in on the joke.
You'll tell people.
I am
Yeah.
the joke.
Guess what?
Like,
You
it's
are the
like
joke.
it is the joke, but it's a relatable
Yeah.
joke. And I
Yes.
think it's
Yeah.
an interesting point that you just made about the kind of distinction between not giving a shit versus being able to laugh at yourself because
Yeah.
they are related, but it's a different thing. And I think both are really important. The not giving a shit part is the ability to whisper in your friend's ear
Yeah.
that you have a wedgie right now.
Mm-hmm.
And to tell people the disaster just happened in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Right? And that is one layer that I think is really important. And the second thing, though, which has been very freeing for me, is just like loosening the grip and being able to laugh at these moments.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because humor, we've done a lot of research on humor because of speeches that I've given or other projects that we've done for Audible. And there's so much research about having a sense of humor
Mm-hmm.
and how when you have a sense of humor, the research is kind of bananas. In fact, why don't we take a break? And this is a great time to allow our sponsors to entertain you for a second. And let's dig into the research real quick while you guys are listening to a commercial, because I think it's important to explain that humor is actually a really important skill and asset in life.
Oh, yeah.
And if I recall correctly, it's like it makes other people think you're intelligent. They trust you more. It exudes confidence.
Yeah.
And in the workplace, and I realized this was not in the workplace. I mean, it was like a professional event.
Yeah, but it was professional
Yeah.
though.
Yes.
It wasn't
You were
like you were
dressed
sitting
up.
on the
Yeah.
couch with
Yeah.
your girlfriends.
But there's all this research about leadership and
Yeah.
teams when it comes to having a sense of humor. Now, I would not tell your boss you had a thong wedgie up your ass. I would not do that.
yeah.
But I think there's a lot here to unpack. And by the way, I'm not done with the story.
Oh,
Oh my God, there's more.
There's a lot more.
All right.
And I'll tell you all of it when we come back.
Okay.
Welcome back. It's your friend Mel, and I'm here with my colleagues and friends, Amy and Jesse, in our studios. And we're doing a jump on the mic episode, which basically means I rolled in here hot with a story to tell, and now we're making something of it. But I was just talking about this massive shapewear wardrobe malfunction. And
Where were we?
so here we are, and then we got to get to the humor thing, because I think that's the big takeaway here.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Laugh at yourself. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. Because honestly, the second you start laughing at a situation, this is the most ridiculous thing I've gotten myself into. Why do you always do this to yourself, Mel? Like,
Yeah.
you can go two different ways, right? I could either be shuffling toward this museum, beating myself up for buying the wrong size, always getting it wrong, screwing things up, running late, or I can be laughing at myself
Yeah.
at how ridiculous this is. Of course I've done this to myself. Of
Yeah.
course I would have a thong up my ass the first time I am going to this like really nice thing. This is the first time since like the last 3 years that I've gone to something this nice.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm having a massive wardrobe problem.
Yeah.
But so this is not all. So as I'm sitting at the luncheon and I'm trying to squeeze my butt together, it's like a butt exercise so that the thing doesn't adjust back to snapping back to the normal size. It is slowly starting to itch up again.
Oh no!
Yeah.
While you're sitting this
Yes.
time?
And so as
Uh-oh.
we walk back to the parking garage, I'm with a friend, one of my closest friends, Lisa. And I am just like, she's just like, stop picking at that wedgie. Stop picking at that wedgie.
Can't stop.
Just unsnap
Your
the damn thing.
hands
And I'm like, I
smell.
can't unsnap the thing. First of all,
Smell.
I can't unsnap it because I'm in a public space.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
trying to unsnap a bodysuit in a discreet way is next to impossible.
No.
And so my only choice is to try to pick at it. And so we get down to the parking garage. Thank God no one was around.
In the parking lot level.
Yeah. It's you know, it's a busy parking garage. Lisa's right there. We go to her car first, so I don't have to walk that far, and then she drives me to my car so that I don't have to keep dealing with this. I get out of the thing, and I open up my car door and step behind it. I mean, I do have
Good,
some
good.
decorum. I'm not
Yeah.
going to, like, drop my
Yeah.
pants, you know, and make Lisa watch this. So I literally unsnap it.
Whoa.
It rolls up like a window shade.
Question: are your pants still down? Are you able to do this with your pants? Like,
Oh, no, I have to
around-
take my pants, like, down.
They're down. Okay.
And I have to
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
squat
So
and
now
do
you're-
the yank
Yeah.
down again. I
You're getting
unsnap
a
it.
full breeze now.
Okay.
Oh my God. If you think taking a bra off or a pair of bike shorts off
Yeah.
for you gentlemen out there feels liberating,
Mm-mm.
try unsnapping a thong bodysuit that's too small, that has been slowly constricting your circulation for 2 hours
Oh my God.
while you ate poached salmon and asparagus.
Mm-mm.
Right.
I just wanted to stand there for a minute with my
Yeah.
legs shoulder width apart. You know, just
Yes.
I just
It's expansion from all sides. It's not just the bra.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like that is the definition of let loose.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You let it all loose.
And sure enough, just as I suspected, you know, it rolls up. I button my pants back up. I step out from the side of the door. I shut the door. Lisa is laughing hysterically because now, of course, I have the front part hanging down in front
Oh.
and the back part like a tail. And she's laughing and I'm laughing and I'm like, you got to take a picture of this. You got to take a picture of this, dude. Like, this
great.
is hilarious. I
Yeah.
got to remember this. And so she goes, well, I got to back the car up so I can get a good angle. And I'm like, okay. So she starts backing the car up. I can't make this up. And she freaking hits a parking pylon.
Oh,
She
shit.
just about has a heart attack. Luckily, it was
God.
plastic and not a concrete one. So now I'm doubled over laughing with the unsnapped bodysuit hanging out of my pants. And I'm like, what should I do? What should I do? And she's like, just step over there and strike a pose. So I kind of put my arm up on my head. I look like this exasperated freedom look. She snaps a photo. And when we look at it, we cannot believe it. I got to show you this.
Sorry.
You cannot believe this photo. Let me just show you this. Holy guacamole. I want you to look at the sign that is above me and read it to whatever.
my
Read it
God.
to everybody.
Caution, dead end.
And it's in black and white and yellow. And my sweater is a
Yeah.
yellow, black, and white striped bumblebee sweater.
Yeah.
This looks like some art director
Yeah, it's perfectly curated
Yeah.
the way you did it.
Yeah.
curated
Yeah.
the
The
this
angles,
itself
the
is a
depth.
work of art.
It
people.
is. The
Yeah.
palette, the pose.
Really?
Yeah.
With the nude skimwear too.
Yeah.
Blends
But
right
I
in.
love that it's all about humor. It's
Yes.
not like,
Yeah.
we created this awesome
Yeah.
moment together that was it was just fun through and through. And when you look at that, you think of Lisa, you think of laughing, right? Like
I think
you
of
just,
women in art.
you think of,
I think
right.
of poached salmon.
Right.
I think of my friend Robin who invited me to this.
Yes.
I think
Aw.
about like my memorable moment in the bathroom, shuffling across. I think about shuffling across the harbor in the seaport. Like I
Yes.
just like think of all of it,
Right.
and I also just laugh.
Yeah.
And I will remember this moment for the rest of my life because of the humor,
Oh,
Yeah.
right? Turning something embarrassing and somewhat painful into something hilarious and relatable shifted everything about it. And I wanted to share this story. And by the way, we will share the photo with you. If you're watching on YouTube, congratulations, because you've already seen it. If you are listening to this, just look in the show notes and we will link to this photo. But we tape all of our podcast episodes. We put up longer, unedited, unabridged kind of versions of it, behind the scenes stuff, if you ever want to check that out. But I mean, it's just so funny. And it kind of brings me full circle to this idea of how do you develop a sense of humor? Because just like I had to like unsnap the hold that the bodysuit had,
Yeah.
and it created so much freedom for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
When you unsnap the judgment and the seriousness and the gotta be perfect and act like a robot mentality that so many of us have,
Yeah.
you're missing out on one of the greatest joys in life, which is learning how to laugh at yourself. Like,
Yeah,
it's one thing to not give a shit about what other people think. And for those of you interested, we did an incredible podcast about the art of not giving a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Hugely popular. You can check that out. We'll link it to the show notes. But this is about something else. It's about allowing yourself the freedom to be human and learning how to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
And
And-
Amy, I want to bring you into this because you are a stand-up comic. You do improv. You actually perform on stages.
Yeah. At a amateur level, but yeah. Because becoming someone who looks at the world in a funny way is not just something that you're born with. You can really get funnier, and you can develop a sense of humor beyond anything that you think that you have right now. And I think it's worthwhile.
Oh, I do too. Like, I think like if you unpack that story, which it's like pretty funny,
Yeah.
but I think it's funny because it's relatable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also funny because it's the things that we don't talk about. And I think when you make fun of yourself, you allow people to bond with you over the shit that's relatable in life.
We
Yeah.
all do it.
Yeah. And so I think that that's a piece of it. Like, if I had to give any advice about it, because this is something that I've been working on because I've always been so hard at myself, and learning how to laugh at yourself, not in like a condescending, like, oh, but more like, that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
That's funny that I just constantly do whatever it is that I do.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
and it allows other people in. And I think that's the thing that people miss.
Yes. Well, that's the thing that I admire most about you. And I think that's the thing that stood out to me the most in this story, is that you don't keep it to yourself and just say, oh gosh,
Right.
I'm
Right.
this is really funny. I can't believe this is happening. You do not do things in a whisper. You do them out loud and let everybody in. I can just imagine all the women at your table, and you're saying like, guys, anybody else have a thong problem right now? Because and then people are not thinking about their own insecurities or judgments or what's happening to them in that moment. They're thinking about your stuff and laughing about it. To share laughter like that, especially with people you don't know or just getting to know, I mean, what a gift that is.
And it goes like social media. Like, you posted it.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Other people would be like, oh God, I can only show the pretty
course.
pictures where I'm all done up. No one's going to know that I've got a massive thumb. I'm not going to talk about it. But Mel's like, no. Here's my art outfit with a wedgie.
Yeah.
With it hanging out.
Yes. And that's also why I post the ridiculous photos of myself where I'm just in real life kind of hideous because I laugh at myself.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
And we all look like
and
that.
here's the other thing that I just got. That the metaphor for not allowing yourself to laugh and not sharing that with other people is your whole life becomes like you're wearing a bodysuit that's too small. It constricts you, it suffocates you, it cuts off your life force and your circulation. And that there's something available to you when you lighten up. And we did do a little bit of research very quickly. I will link to the studies, but just the things that I jotted down are really important. Like, first of all, people respect leaders that are funny more than people who aren't.
Yeah.
And the research shows that a sense of humor, when we meet somebody with a sense of humor, we believe that somebody with a sense of humor, I'm not talking about an inappropriate one, an appropriate sense of humor, we believe they're confident. We believe they're more powerful. We immediately raise up their status. We think they're intelligent. And they tend to be somebody we like more because there is this like bond that gets created between somebody that cracks jokes, makes fun of themselves, makes fun of a situation that feels relatable and true. It's like letting you in on something personal.
Trust.
And here's another thing. When it comes to work, this is really interesting. 98% of executives, according to one study, said they would prefer an employee with a sense of humor.
Wow.
And 84% of those same leaders believe that people with a sense of humor do better work.
Wow. Those are high numbers.
High numbers. And I think it goes beyond that class clown thing. You
Yes.
know, like somebody that's just funny is really likable, and you know that funny is cute, and funny makes time pass, and funny, you know,
It's like attention,
yeah,
but it's
funny begs attention. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's funny is a power. It's a superpower that you can have.
Yeah.
It creates a dynamic that two people or many people join in on that really changes your perspective of the world, which I think is fascinating. And I love it. I love how you could have just had this wedgie and felt really angry with
And
yourself.
thrown the skims
And,
out.
oh
in a
my
trash
God. And it
can
just
in
could
the,
have
parking
ended
lot.
there. But instead, we all get to laugh at it. You're laughing at the table with all the ladies. We're laughing about it now. And it's brightening my day, and it's making my mood a little bit better. And it's, you know, it's a gift. It really is a gift.
Well, I think that's the invitation to you listening is as you go through your day to day, something embarrassing or funny is probably going to happen. Just notice it. And then notice whether or not you're laughing at yourself or you're laughing at other people. It could be as something like, you know what happens to me all the time? I spill on myself all the time. All the time. And when I do, I don't change my shirt or my pants. I just make a joke of it. Why? Because it's funny.
Yeah.
You know, we can all relate to it. And so there is an invitation here, whether it's a wardrobe failure or it's something that you do at work today that's super embarrassing, or it's the fact that you're talking to your kid's teacher and all of a sudden you belch in the middle of the sentence and then you both burst out laughing. Or what about the time that I farted at work? And I thought Jessie
such a great day.
was going to lose her mind. She was laughing so hard. We had to stop down work for 3 minutes, you guys, because she could not get control of herself.
Yeah.
And so you know what I did
ripped
next? The second I felt one coming, I actually pushed it out because I knew if I did a second one, she would lose her goddamn mind, and she did. And so I just feel like stop taking yourself so damn seriously.
Yeah.
Learning to lighten up and loosen the grip and unsnap the life bodysuit you got on yourself and be a little human. It lets people in. It lets up the pressure on you. It makes you more relatable. It makes you seem smarter and more confident because you are. Because it takes a confident person the ability to look at life and those dumbass situations that happen and turn it into a joke instead of something to ruminate about.
Yes.
All right, I'm off my soapbox now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to my TED Talk. So how about we plan in real time what our family's going to do with the 14 people that are showing up over Thanksgiving here at our house?
Okay.
What are we doing?
Oh my God, I feel like so put on the spot. Well, I think capture the flag is always a good idea. I think, I mean, we do have the new pool, which would be fun to do like relay races in or something along the lines of that. I think we could, I mean, there's so many different like Olympic-esque games like cornhole or egg tosses or water balloon tosses, whatever. I'm trying to think. I think that the best tradition that I like was very young for, but the lip sync battle was very, very fun. And that was one where everyone went super all out. And just basically lip synced and dressed up as each family was a band, etc. And then they sang a song. That was really fun.
What about a karaoke machine? We could rent one.
Yeah.
That's a no. Okay. I feel like no
that's a no.
enthusiasm there.
That's like, I mean, I think karaoke's fun when everyone's a bad singer, but I can see that turning into Kendall just taking over.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true. So do we plan? I'm gleaning a couple things from you. Number one, we need costumes. Number two, we need a planned activity that everybody participates in. Number three, we need directions. And number four, we can't just let this be something that might happen. So we got to know that people are rolling in Thanksgiving Day. There's going to be the feast. Uncle Tom will do his accents. We'll all laugh. We'll talk about the same stuff. And then when we wake up on Friday morning, all bets are off and it's Family Olympics. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. I think that we need to get more creative with the games, or else I think it's never, or it's the worst when we come up with something and we're always really excited about it, but we've done it before. So then when we actually try to do it, it's very half-assed instead of everyone being super involved in everything. So I would advise against Family Olympics just because we have already done that. But even like I know that a lot of our family likes to drink, as does many other people in this world. Like we could do like a cocktail making contest or something where everyone brings their own fixings and makes like a unique drink. And we could do like, everyone could make their own drink. So like I could make one, you could make one, and then we could all like try to do that, or we could do it based on family.
That's a cool idea. And since there's a couple people that don't drink, we could force you to have to do an alcoholic and a non-alcoholic version, which is actually quite hard.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that as a Thanksgiving thing. That's an assignment per family. Okay, check. We got that one done. Should we have a pool party?
See, I think it's hard with those. Like, yes, absolutely. But I don't think it's one of those things that you can plan. Like that just needs to happen naturally. And I think that that's the thing with making fun, is it's always fun when it's not super forced. And I think it's one of those things where if you're the only one that wants to have the pool party and then you're sending out all these emails, oh, bring your bathing suit, whatever, and then people aren't really into it, then it's not fun at all. So you need to kind of like make sure a lot of people are into that.
So now let me focus us on the actual Thanksgiving table. Okay. How do we make that more fun? What's your opinion on adult versus kid tables?
I think that having, well, an adult table, I think every table it's fun to like make creative handmade name tags for everyone, and potentially have like flowers, especially on the adult, like flowers or tree things, or just make it Thanksgiving-esque with that type of fall color scheme. I think having, I don't know. Like I feel like having little presents or another thing that we used to do is we would have the poppers.
Oh yeah, I love poppers.
That you pull, like everyone holds them crisscross and you pull those. Those are always fun. Having like crowns or.
Oh, I like the idea of what if we make our own crowns?
Yeah,
to wear.
That would be fun.
Or you get assigned a crown to make for somebody else to wear at the table. I like that.
Oh, I like that too.
Let's do that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You pull a name out of the hat and you got to make somebody a crown to wear at Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, that's done. What about a question? I was recently at a dinner party and Maxine, who was hosting the party with her husband, Andrew, asked a table of 10 people tell us about the very first apartment you lived in. And it was kind of surprising. Everybody had a really crazy story about the very first apartment they lived in. Is there a question that we could ask all 14 family members that would bring some fun and would shake things up?
Huh. I think that's a fun question, except we do have younger kids. So obviously some of us, or not me, but others haven't had their own apartment. Maybe, I don't know. I always think it's hilarious to hear like people's first kiss, but I know that
Ooh, let's do
that
that.
can make people uncomfortable if they haven't had their first kiss.
Who hasn't had their first kiss in our family?
I don't know. I don't want to call anyone out, but just like younger kids. I'm trying to think. Like if you here's a good one. If you could plan if money was not an option and you could plan a trip for our entire family, where would we go? What would we do? That type of thing. And then everyone can go around and say that.
That's fun. See, what's happening when you plan this stuff is that you're creating an environment for fun. You're creating ways for people to connect in a different manner than how we normally show up. Because I don't know about you, but even with our family of 5, when all 5 of us are home, it's super exciting and really amazing for the first day.
Mm-hmm.
And then literally by the next morning, everybody's back in their old roles. Do you feel that?
Yeah, totally. Going off of the question thing, another thing you could do is we could create like a big bowl of interesting questions on like pieces of paper and fold them and then hand everyone one at the table, or that people can like pick randomly. And so then everyone has a different random question that they can answer.
Great idea.
But yeah, the first day is always, oh, it's so great to see you. What have you been up to? And then the second day turns into either boring or I hate you all.
Uh-oh.
No. No, I don't know. I just think it's always really hard to come back for the holidays with the family, and it's exciting at first, and then by the end of it you're like, okay, I'm ready to get back to my regular routine.
You're right. I wanted to talk to you today because our family gets into this rhythm when we come together where we deeply love each other. We're all excited for the first day. And then by the time the second day rolls around, everybody is in their own corners. Everybody's staring at their phones. Everybody's grouchy because they want to go see their friends instead of hanging out with us as a family. And nobody can agree on what we're going to do together. And I don't want the holidays to be like that this year. And you are Miss Fun, and you're super creative about this. And you also get really like intense about it. And so I want you to help me figure out how to have fun as a family this year. Because everything that I plan, like, oh, let's go look at the exhibit at the MFA. You guys are like, I don't want to go. Or, I used to love going to the movies on the day after Thanksgiving. I don't want to do that. Like, how is it that you get everybody to do fun things that don't want to?
Well, first of all, never suggest the MFA or go to the movies. That's first off. Second, I think that what I agree with you in that's exactly what happens, at least with our family, and I'm sure with a lot of families out there. And I think that's why having not like a strict schedule, but kind of like planned out things or one thing to do every single day, whether that's, okay, tomorrow we're going to definitely go on this hike, and having everyone come in with that expectation that, okay, tomorrow we're going on a hike, like everyone's coming, or the next day we're going to go play paddle. and we've already booked the court. Like, it's not, oh, you want to do this, you want to do this. It's already planned. It's in the books. There's no canceling. The following day, like, we make a bunch of Christmas wreaths out of all like our plants outside or trees, etc. But we've already cut all of the leaves or the plants so that it's all ready to go, instead of just waking up and having nothing to do. And then that results to, okay, we're going to watch 8 Harry Potters and drink an entire bottle of wine and be on our phones all day.
You just described the holidays at our house. Oh my God. I think what you said is key, that if we're going to have more fun, we have to plan to have more fun, and we have to have it turnkey so that there's no opting out and there's no prep, because it is the death of fun when you turn to a group of people and go, what do you guys feel like doing? Anybody want to go for a hike? And you start like teeing up options. Most people are going to go, nah, I'm going to sit here in front of the fire and look at my phone. And so I think that's right. One activity a day. Costumes are required for one of them. Bring something that's fun and creative to the dinner. And we talked about like having some sort of little make crowns for every member of the family sort of thing. And so to me, that means we need to have at least the crown shape cut out for everybody. So there's no shenanigans of like everything's ready is what I'm hearing. Correct?
Yeah, everything's ready. We have the paint, we have the markers, the glitter, jewels, whatever we want people to decorate those with. And I think it's one of those things where that's all on us. And you just like, that's why planning these things are fun. But if you're not into planning, then it can be frustrating and stressful. But if you like that, as I do, like I would love to like go to Target and get all the supplies and make the crowns and have it set up for everyone. And I think that when other people come and they don't have to lift a finger, but they can participate, I think that that's when they have the most fun. And while that requires planning on our end as the host, it's just like what essentially if we want to provide a fun environment, we need to commit to doing that. And I think with costumes, the key thing is if you want everyone to go all out, obviously in the invitation, make that known, but you need to give them like 2 weeks, 3 weeks to like order the costumes, whatever. So it's not the night before and they're looking for a Santa Claus costume where they essentially just wear red leggings and a red shirt.
Got it. Okay. So can I ask you to take on the crown project?
Yes.
Thank you. The final thing we didn't talk about is music. I think having playlists ready is critical.
Yes, absolutely.
One of the things that I love, one tradition, is Thanksgiving. Our family always brings the disco playlist, and it goes on the second we start clearing the table for Thanksgiving. And there is an all hands on deck family disco dance party cleanup situation that happens.
Yes, that is true. Very fun. Makes all the dishes way more fun.
And that brings me to our very first question about happiness from a listener named Andrea.
Hey Mel, it's Andrea. Can you talk about happiness? I can't think of a time that I have felt true happiness. I'm just living, I guess. I feel that something is missing, and I believe it's happiness.
Andrea, I love the way you framed that question. And for you listening, I'm going to put that question right back to you. Can you think of a time that you felt true happiness? Or are you like most people, that you feel like something is missing from your life and you can't quite put your finger on it? You know, when I hear Andrea's question, I can totally relate to it because I know I felt the way that she's feeling. And one of the mistakes that I was making when I felt like something was missing is I, of course, went on the search. I got to find happiness. And here's the first piece of research that I want to talk about. Research says that happiness or that feeling that we're seeking of happiness, it's often fleeting because we are searching for happiness in the wrong places. In fact, researchers at Rutgers and the University of Toronto found that people who pursue happiness, you're chasing it, you're looking for it outside yourself, you often feel like you don't have enough time in the day. And this paradoxically makes you feel unhappy. Because when you feel like you don't have enough time in the day because you're constantly chasing all these things outside of you, you start to feel like you're not in control of your life. And I think that's what Andrea is talking about, that we're all chasing down some version of happiness that we think we're supposed to be chasing, right? That society has marketed some version of life to us. And that's why you probably are familiar with that phrase, I'll be happy when. We all succumb to that thinking. I'll be happy when I lose the weight, I fall in love, I land that dream job, I pay off my bills, I get into my dream school, I find the perfect apartment. And there's multiple problems with thinking like this. First of all, if you think that you'll be happier when you achieve something, what always happens is when you achieve it, you're not as happy as you thought you would be. And then all of a sudden, because you don't have this big goal in front of you anymore, your happiness plummets. And so the research is very, very clear that these big events that we're chasing, that we think are going to give us a boost of happiness, that happiness doesn't last. And there's a second reason why this kind of thinking, that you'll be happy at some point in the future, why this is really problematic. It's because you are anchoring your happiness on something that hasn't happened yet. That means your happiness is something you have to earn. Your happiness is something that's outside of you. And that's not what happiness is at all. Happiness is always within your control. Happiness is something that you want to cultivate in your life where you are right now. And the good news is, you don't have to wait to be happy when. You can learn to be happier now. So let me explain, based on the research, how happiness works when it comes to you individually. So there's this formula that's supported by the science that says you have 100% capacity for happiness. That's what you got. Your cup can be full and runneth over. 100%, baby. Happiness is for you. 50% of that capacity is genetics. That's your default. So you might be somebody that has 50% genetics that are preset to being very sunny and kind of bubbly and happy. Or 50% of your genetics might be like, meh, you're kind of grumpy. That's okay, because you still have the other 50% to play with. 10% of the rest is based on the circumstances that you're facing right now. And 40% of happiness, period, in your life right now is completely under your control. And that's what we're going to focus on, because that's awesome. No matter what kind of family you were born into, no matter what you're facing right now in your life, 40% of your capacity for happiness right now completely in your control. And so before we go forward, I want to make sure that as we're talking, that we're in complete agreement about what the word happiness means. Because when you and I use the word happy or happiness, we might be saying totally different things. There's a huge spectrum when people use this word. Researchers even talk about the fact that happiness is all over the map. Some people, when they say happiness, they mean laughing and having a good time. Other people mean fulfillment or thriving or kicking ass in life. And so you and I are going to have a conversation right now about what you mean when you say happiness. Where are you on the spectrum between laughter and having a great time to feeling completely fulfilled and thriving in life? And so in order for you and I to get on the same page, I'm going to bring a metaphor in. You know Mel Robbins. She loves her metaphors. She loves her visual explanations for these big, heady concepts. And thankfully, I got a great one for happiness. So whenever you hear the word happiness, I want you to think about an ocean. There are waves in an ocean, and that's one spectrum of happiness. And waves come and they go. And having fun in the waves requires you to jump in the waves, to get into the ocean, to decide that you're going to go have fun. But then if you think about the ocean, there are days that there's no waves at all. It's perfectly still. And the ocean itself and your ability to stand in that ocean, to float and to swim, that's a deeper form of happiness. Or what about the days where the ocean is stormy and you wouldn't dare go in? But on those days that you're on the beach, aren't you so present to the wind, to the salt, to the waves crashing on the beach? That's what I want you to think about. That huge range of how an ocean shows up. And I love this metaphor of an ocean for happiness, the waves being fun and the still ocean being your ability to just experience happiness, and you being present even on the stormiest days to the little details. I love this range because it ties right back to all of the research, but it gives us a visual. I want to ask you a question on behalf of anyone that's listening that is up to their eyeballs in debt and is having trouble dreaming and is trying to make ends meet, or maybe it's not even the debt. It's that with 2 kids in college and bills to pay and a mortgage, they're just in those crunch years of just grinding it out.
Yeah.
What is the concept of a rich life? And can you walk us through, regardless of where we are financially, how we start to define it for ourselves? Because we've covered the money dials, but I want to just get a flat definition from you of what a rich life is and what are the steps you walk somebody through, regardless of where they are, to creating one.
A rich life is when you look at your life and you go, wow, this feels amazing. Now, you can have a rich life and still be in debt. That's okay. You can have a rich life and not be exactly where you want to be ultimately. But a rich life can be traveling 2 months a year. It can be buying a beautiful cashmere coat. A rich life can be picking up your kids from school every afternoon. The key is that your rich life is yours. It's not mine. It's not your friends, not your parents. It's yours. And in fact, the more you carefully define your rich life and really turn those dials up and down, the more bewildering your rich life will be to other people. I'll give you an example from my own life. My rich life is really weird to other people, and that's exactly what it should be. I love spending extravagantly on travel. I'm a hotel guy. I have a list of hotels in all parts of the world. I know the exact room I want to stay in. Like, I love it. I'm obsessed. That's my thing. I also love clothes. I love them. I spend a lot on it. And so those things are things I spend extravagantly on. On the other hand, my car is not that important to me. And to give you a point of comparison, I've spent more in 1 year on travel than I spent in 20 years on all of my car expenses added together.
Wow.
So that's crazy. That's bewildering. It makes no sense to somebody listening. And that's exactly how it should be. If you love camping, maybe you turn that dial up. You find a way to have smaller costs for your rent or mortgage. And instead, you're going camping, I don't know, X weeks per year. You've got some place you go that nobody else knows about, some equipment that's amazing. You take friends with you. Amazing. Not my thing. I've got a reader of mine who told me he retired in his 30s with his wife. They travel around the country in an RV. I go, that sounds like hell.
Yeah,
to
too.
me.
No way.
But
to them,
I love that it's their rich life.
Yes. So are there particular questions other than the money dial that you would want us to ask ourselves or answer in order to start to really define it? Because I agree with you. Most people, when you ask them for real, what do you want? It's like,
It's hard. It's a really big question.
Yes.
So what we can do is we can zoom in and out.
Okay.
To help people create some context around it.
Okay.
So, I have this journal, which you can do solo or with your partner. And I'm going to give you a few exercises that are really helpful. Let's start big picture, and then we'll zoom really tight down to day to day.
Okay.
So this is a fun exercise. I did this one with my wife. We sat down and we said, let's create a 10-year bucket list. So in the next 10 years, what do we want to do that would make this an amazing and rich 10 years?
Whoa.
Okay. So we took 2 separate pieces of paper. We spent a few minutes. We wrote it down. And then we came back and compared it. And this is a really cool opportunity to recalibrate the way you talk about money, because it's dreamy, it's fun. You don't have to commit to anything. So you want to get curious. You know, one of us is like, oh, I want to learn Spanish. And the other one goes, oh, cool. You want to do that online? Or like, would you want to go to Mexico City and do an immersion? The other one, you know, for one of my things was I want to write a book at a hotel. Makes perfect sense. I don't necessarily love writing, but if I'm going to write a book, I'm going to write it in an amazing luxury hotel that I love.
Which one?
Okay, cool. Oh, so there was one in Kyoto that I love. And in fact, recently went there on a writing project. I achieved one of my 10-year things. Yeah. And you know the funniest part? My wife was going to Japan anyway with some friends. She goes, hey, why don't you go and work on your writing project? You know, I know you love that hotel and you've got the time. Why don't you? And I was like, oh, yeah, it didn't even occur to me. So sometimes you need somebody to remind you about your
Now,
life.
if you're single or you're newly divorced or you've just graduated from college, do you recommend that you grab a friend or a sibling or somebody, or is this something best
No, you
done?
can do it solo.
You can do it solo. Okay.
Yeah, you could totally do it solo. So you come up with a list of things, and it's things that are exciting that you would look back on and be like, wow, that was a really cool 10 years. I remember that's memorable. Okay. Then, so the two of you have, if you're in a partnership, you've asked each other, if you're solo, you're looking at them, and you're picking one that really jumps out at you. Don't overthink it. It's the one that you go, I want to do that above all others.
In the next 10 years.
Yep.
I got to go to Australia for a month. In the next 10 years, I'm not saying that's mine, but I'm just saying, like, what are some of the things you've seen from the millions of people that you've helped?
We want to take a family trip to Italy. Super common. Everybody wants to go to Italy. Like it's like, and I love hearing it because I then get to help them dimensionalize it. Like Italy alone is just a word. I want to know, what seat on the airplane are you flying? What season are you going? What are you wearing? Where are you eating? I want to know every detail to the point where we can almost smell it, because then it becomes vivid and aspirational. Okay. So that's what we're doing in this first process. It's actually really fun. Oh my God, we get to go on a pizza tour, whatever. Then you pick that one, and solo or together, you go, all right, let's actually make it happen. When do I want to do this? In our case, we decided we want to have an amazing 10-year wedding anniversary. We were inspired by some friends of ours who did it, and we were like, what? People actually do that? And then we're like, well, who cares if people do it? We want to do it. And so we said, that's it. We happen to know the exact date we want to do it and the location. If you want to go to Italy or wherever, you got to pick a specific month and year. It's got to now start getting specific. And then you got 2 more steps, and then you're good to go.
Hold on. Let me just clarify something.
Yeah.
What Ramit is teaching you to do is to dream again and to attach very positive and aligned emotion with what a rich life would feel like. And I think so many of you are going to have trouble even getting past this part and giving yourself permission to do it because of the amount of mistakes that you made. And, I'll just say, Ramit, when Chris's restaurant business was really struggling and we had liens on the house and couldn't pay for groceries at times, and I had lost my job, dreaming seemed impossible, but it was actually a lifeline because it made me feel like this was gonna be temporary, that we would figure out a way through this. And so I just want to underscore that that if you're like got crushing student debt right now, if you've gone through a divorce and you're in financial ruin, this is actually exactly what you need to do. Because if you continue to stare at the debt, you're going to feel disempowered, which means your actions will be disempowered. If we can give you a beacon out on the distance to raise your gaze and get you feeling inspired again, something to work toward, that we know based on the research, that's your big why when it comes to a goal. And so I love what you're doing here because it's the exact opposite of what a financial advisor would tell you, which is you'd sit down, you'd go through the numbers, you'd feel like an imbecile. You'd basically get somebody politely telling you you're fucked and you shouldn't buy coffee out and you shouldn't enjoy yourself until you get your debt under control and you pay this off. And that can come. But let's first get the conversation fun and exciting again, because when you're in that kind of mood, you're going to be more motivated to do the tedious bullshit that any financial advisor can tell you, correct?
Correct, 100%. And thank you for slowing us down and really providing the context behind why we are doing it this way. I don't want us to shrink our world to a spreadsheet. That's not going to help you. That's not going to help anybody. Instead, what I want to do is expand our vision, even if it feels impossible to dream. And to say, look, just in this moment, on this piece of paper, let's dream for a second. And it's having a conversation with yourself or your partner and saying, we may not be able to even see how we can get there today, but we've got time. And if we put the intention behind it and we marshal our resources, I think we can do this.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay.
Absolutely beautiful.
So you've got one powerful vision of what you want to accomplish in the next 10 years. I say powerful because it's not like eating at a restaurant. That's not powerful enough. I had a guy once tell me his rich life is coffee. And I just sat there and then I said, that's boring. I just told him point blank and he was shocked. Oh, somebody's telling me my rich life is boring. I was like, yeah, that's boring. You can't just say coffee. Like, this guy had a lot of money. I go, okay, if you love coffee, then tell me you want to go to Guatemala and take a behind-the-scenes tour of a farm. Tell me you want to go to the National Barista Competition and bring somebody. Tell me something beyond, I want to order an extra Dunkin' Donuts coffee shipped to my house. No, that's not acceptable. So sometimes I have to challenge people to think bigger. You got something big. It could be skydiving. It could be a trip, whatever. All right. You know the date.
Okay.
Specifically the
so
month.
So in the
year.
next 10 years, you got to pick a date, the month and the year.
Yep. You got to be specific. Then this is the hardest part, but it should take no more than 5 minutes.
Okay.
Approximate the cost. So if you're going to Italy, people, they start to freak out because
I just freaked out.
Yeah. It's like we revert back to 7th grade math and we're like, oh, got to do the quadratic equation and get it perfect. I go, listen, you don't need any decimal points. Okay. In fact, you could approximate on the back of a napkin. How much is a flight going to cost approximately? You know, add 15% because you forgot about tax and all that stuff. What's a hotel going to cost? I don't know. Google hotel, Italy, Rome, whatever. Okay, let's double the price because maybe we want to stay at a nice hotel. All right, fine. That's the level that we're talking about here.
Okay.
And if you have two different, like my wife and I had two completely different numbers. Mine was way bigger. And my rule is if you got two numbers, go with the bigger one.
Got it. Okay.
Go with the bigger one. And so now you've got a beautiful vision. You've got a month and year. You've got the approximate amount it's going to cost. The last step is to make it a reality. How do you do that? Let's say that it's 10 years away. It's going to cost $10,000. I'm just making it up. Mm-hmm. That means you need to be saving $1,000 a year, or roughly, $100 a month.
Okay.
Roughly. Okay, we could do that. Suddenly you start to understand a little concept of like time and money, and you set up an automatic savings from your checking account to your savings account for $100 a month, and you call it Dream Trip 2030. Boom. Every month that you are talking about money in what I call a Rich Life Review, it's like a video game. You see, we're getting 3% closer, and that is a joy.
I love this. And I know that is that what you call a conscious spending plan?
Conscious spending plan's a little different, okay. But it would incorporate that, yes.
Okay. Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for checking this video out. And if you like this one, I have a feeling you're going to like this one too. I'll see you there.